Finally got our new intercooler tube. Get that installed. And we should be golden. Alright, this one blew out just like the last one. It's hitting the belt tensioner. So I got on YouTube and I was just kind of watching some people install these. Just trying to see if there's something different that I'm missing. And it turns out, the belt being installed wrong the first time didn't help matters any, obviously. And like I said, I don't like how close it was to the pulley. It only had, enough room to get your finger in between there. And the belt tensioner, it's going to move a little bit, and I'm sure that rubber tube probably expands a little bit. So my thought is with the new turbo, it was expanding and hitting the belt tensioner in the belt, burning the hole through it. So like I said, I was on YouTube kind of watching some of this stuff. I just wanted to get like a better idea of like what other trucks look like under there. And I noticed there's a clamp that goes around about right here that bolts to one of the fan shroud mounts. That's not there no more. So I'm guessing, for whatever reason, when the kid was putting the turbo on, when he was up front messing with the belt and whatever, I don't know if he took that off and didn't put it back on, but I'm thinking that might be the culprit to all my problems, was that clamp is gone. So hopefully this solves all my issues. Cross your fingers. Knock on wood for about the 5th time. Like I said, when I have bad luck, it's relentless. It lasts forever. So I got my hopes up this time. So let's hope my hopes and dreams don't get crushed. But I came out to the shop and it was kind of cool. There was a couple bald eagles out in the front of the front yard, across the road in the field a little ways. One flew right over top of my head. By the time I got the camera going, I think the one had already landed and the one was still on the ground, whatever. But that was kind of neat seeing those guys out in the field this morning. It's pretty cool. Got 2 bald eagles hanging out right in front of our acreage. One just flew right over top of me right before I got the camera going. Pretty neat. But today, we're going to finish up changing oil, changing the hub oil. Get this intercooler tube put back in. Rotate tires, I think. And then go for a little test drive and make sure we don't have any more issues. Well, let's hope, I think. I don't know. I don't even want to say. Cross my fingers, knock on wood. I hope, I pray. Every time I do, something goes wrong. But let's cross our fingers and hope this works. Well, we're rotating tires, so I figured let's talk about tires a little bit. I've seen quite a few trucks, I guess, like in parking lots and whatever. The front tires look like a stop sign, I guess. They have like diagonal wear in them. A lot of that's from just, number one, lack of rotation. Number two, if it's a front tire doing that, it could be a number of things. Low air pressure can do it. Like I said, lack of rotation. Shocks can do it if your shocks are getting bad. If you hit bumps and the front end just keeps bouncing and bouncing before it finally calms down and stops, it's probably time for some new shocks. Other things that can cause it is tie rods are getting bad. ball joints are getting bad, idle arm, pitman arm, anything on your front suspension that's going back can cause it. But typically, like when I worked in a tire shop, whenever we saw issues like that, I'd say 3/4 of the time it was just running wrong, the wrong air pressure and lack of rotation. That was the number 1 and 2 things that we always saw. But when you have your front tires on and you have your front end jacked up, grab both sides of the tire and wiggle in and out. And if you feel like a clunking in there, then you got something going out, probably a tie rod. And if you can grab the top and bottom and try and wiggle up and down on it, if you feel movement there, you probably got ball joints going out. So that's kind of the number 1 thing on front tires with wear. Yeah, just rotate, check your air pressures. When I was doing single pulls, I think I ran 65 in the rear. It was 60 or 65, and then I ran 70 in the front. I was running 60 in the rear and 65 in the front, and I would start noticing I'd get chopping in my front tires a lot sooner. So I bumped it up 5 pounds, and you could actually tell the difference when you'd hit bumps. It was a lot more rough, but it made my tires last a lot longer. And one way to tell if you're running too low or too high air pressure, if you're running too low air pressure, your outside edges are going to wear. You're going to have less tread out here and more tread in the middle. And if you're running too much air pressure, it's going to wear your centers out before your outside edges. I know, like, you go to a dealership and like the truck will say 80 pounds, and on a 3/4 ton, 1 ton with your 10-ply tires, and so yeah, like the door on my truck even says 80 pounds all the way around. And so you take it to a dealer and they're going to run 80 pounds. Well, when your tires are about shot, it'll be like smooth in the center and you'll still have outside ribs. Well, that's because they're putting 80 pounds of pressure in it, which is what the manufacturer recommends, but that's if you're also maxing out the load on their tires. So yeah, it's just every tire is going to be different. Every truck's probably going to be a little different depending on how, if you do CDL loads, non-CDL loads, that's all going to play effect. You don't want to be running 55 pounds of air either and then hook on to something that's got 2,500 pounds of tongue weight. So you're obviously going to have to do some adjustments there. So I just found with mine, that's when I'd hook onto a big triple axle toy hauler that had 2,000 pounds of tongue weight, 2,500, whatever it is. My back tires wouldn't squat a whole lot. They'd squat a little bit, but it wasn't horrible with duals. If you're running singles, then you're probably going to want to run more air pressure. But on the back tires, at least on my truck, the inside tire, well, actually, let's go back to the front tire a second. A way to tell if your tires are needing like a rotation, if you take your hand, so this is how the truck came off on the front passenger side. So this is how it'd be rolling down the road going forward. If you take your hand and you move it backwards, this is actually the rotation of the tire. You can kind of feel it catches on each one of these. If I roll my hand forward, it's nice and smooth. It doesn't catch. I don't know if you can. I don't know if the microphone catches that or not, but you can actually hear it catching my glove. On my back tires, they're going to be nice and smooth both directions. But so this is the inside dual passenger side. That one always wears pretty evenly for whatever reason on my truck. Inside wears just a smidge faster, but it's pretty even all the way across. And my outside tire always wears faster on the outside edge. Always has. So when I rotate my tires, I always make sure that all my tires, every time I switch them around, every tire changes direction. All right, so when I rotate my tires, my front passenger is going to go to the inside on the driver's side. And then on my passenger side rear, my inside is going to go out, my outside is going to go straight up. And then it'll be the opposite on the other side. So that way, all 6 tires are all changing directions. I know on your 4-wheel trucks, I used to just take the drive tire would go straight up and the non-drive tires would crisscross and go back. But I've been doing it on this, and I got a little over 100,000 miles out of my first set. So this is my second set on this truck. I think I got right around 35,000 on these so far. And I was rotating on my dually. I was rotating every oil change. And now this would be the second time they've been rotated. So now I'm going roughly 15,000 before I rotate. I'm not seeing a big difference from when I was rotating every 10,000. And I know there's some guys that will just rotate their drives and just rotate their front. That way they're only buying 4 tires when the rear ones are wore out. And then when the front ones are wore out, they'll just buy 2 new ones in the front. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. But I do it this way. When I need tires, I just get 6 new tires. And that's how I do it. But the main thing is air pressure. Just watch your air pressures, watch your tires. They're going to tell you what they need. Like I said, if they're wearing funny on the front, usually you got to go up on air pressure, or like I said, jack the front end up and see if your tire wiggles up and down or side to side. Or if it's been a long time since you changed shocks, you might just need shocks. The back tires, like I said, they're going to tell you air pressure's a lot easier. Centers are going to wear if it's too much air pressure. The edges are going to wear out faster if it's not enough air pressure. So you're going to stand them up, kind of look down the tops of them, and you can see like a crown or concave. And then you got to adjust from there. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents on tires. So now I got to actually rotate them and grease the truck. Woohoo! Another thing, great thing to get, are these torque sticks. Each stick is a different diameter, which gives you different foot poundage. I used to use these on all my single pole units. Instead of setting up the torque stick and going around and cranking on each one, you can just throw one of these on and grab the one that's the right torque spec for the camper you're on. It'll say on a little sticker, usually on the tongue of the camper, or by one of the wheels. It'll have a little diagram of the torque rating and then the star pattern they want you to use. Oh, so now the question is, now the truck's up and running, what is my plan? Well, I don't know. I really don't. There's a big storm system coming through. It's not going to hit us here at home. We're supposed to get like a Arctic blast, so it's supposed to be cold as crap. But out in Indiana, well, pretty much from, looks like Texas all the way up to Ohio, they're going to be getting a little bit of snow. So if I leave in the morning, because this is Monday, part just came in for the truck finally, and if I leave in the morning, I can get out to Indiana no problem, get picked up. But my problem's going to be, I'll have to stay out there Tuesday night, do my 10 hours, and that is going to put me right in the middle of the storm trying to get out of there. And from the looks of it, they're talking that could last, between the wind and the snow, through Friday afternoon from what I'm seeing. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep an eye on the weather and check some of the local stations out there and see what they're showing. But the one I was watching the other day, well, let's see, even last night, what he was showing was about 5 o'clock Tuesday. There was supposed to be like sleet and ice moving in, and then I think it was after midnight Tuesday night, so early Wednesday morning, it's supposed to turn over to snow. So the roads are supposed to be slick, and then the snow is supposed to move in, and then they're talking some like 30 mile an hour winds, 40 mile an hour winds, something like that. And what he was showing, it wasn't even supposed to end until about 10 o'clock Friday night. That's when all the precipitation moves out of there. I guess I don't know what the wind's supposed to do, if they're talking it's supposed to blow 3 days. But I don't know what I'm going to do. I do have a guy, he called up, and he's got a car in North Platte that he wants me to pick up for him. So I was going to take a load to Denver and pick that up on the way back. But I'm not sure now. So I might just have to call my dispatcher. Maybe I'll just run cars around here for a few days. I looked on Central Dispatch, and I could actually get out to North Platte taking cars and pick up cars on the way back and still do pretty good per mile. So I don't know. Not exactly sure what to do. I just know if I head out, I know how my luck is. I'm going to get stuck out there. But if I don't head out there, I would have had enough time to get out of there. I don't know. We'll just keep watching the weather and see if anything changes. But from what I've seen the last 2 days, it hasn't changed a whole lot. They've changed the track a little bit, but not enough to make a difference. Not for me, anyway. But I don't know. It started out being really nice today. I think it was up around 40, 45 when I started working on the truck. And that was what, 1 o'clock? It's now 4:30. And it is dropping pretty quick. The wind's also picking up, so the wind's still out of the south though. It hasn't switched out of the north. It's supposed to switch out of the north, and then the temps will start dropping in a big hurry. But we haven't hit the cold part of winter yet. Usually February is pretty bad. It's the last day of January, so the cold stuff should be coming. It always seems like February. We always have that week or 2 week stretch where it's below zero and windy. Not so much precipitation snow-wise. February never seems too terribly bad, but it's always pretty bad with the temperatures. So we will see. See what happens. See if I make up my mind. See if the wife makes up my mind for me. I don't know. We'll let the boss figure it out. She can tell me what I'm doing. We're gonna get the tractor put back. Maybe scrape some of that snow in front of the shop. That's kind of softer now. It's not such an ice block. Maybe I'll scrape some of that up quick. Get that put back away and get my mess cleaned up in the shop. That's about all the plan I know I have for right now. And I think that's going to do it for today. The hooligans go out and run around for a minute. The sun's going down. Nice orange sky. Usually we'll see some deer running around out in the field. As soon as the sun starts going down, that orange sky just makes them glow. They stick out real easy. Tried scraping some of the snow and ice up from the shop, but that didn't come up as easy as I thought it would. The top was soft. The bottom of it was still solid ice. Like I said, that's pretty much going to do it for today, I think. Not a whole lot to go over, but I figured since I was doing tires, I'd kind of talk about tires a little bit. And if you have all-terrain tires, more aggressive tires, you're going to have to watch them a little more closely and rotate a little more frequently. The outside edges of your all-terrain tires they'll chop a lot quicker than your highway treads will. So, I don't know. Hopefully you guys learned something, maybe not, but that is all we got, so we'll see you in the next one.